Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Football. This is another episode for all of you. Again, let's welcome my co-host, Edward Fordham. How are you, Ed?
Hello, guys. I'm good. I'm still locked down,
Yeah,
but I'm surviving.
awesome. And we have some brilliant matches during the weekend, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Um, what do you think about the matches? Anything special that you saw this week?
The goals were unbelievable, high quality, a lot of them,
Mm-hmm.
I thought. Uh, yeah, lots of good games. I hate to say it, but the Spurs performance was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But the Man United derby, unbelievable. The way that they controlled United, I thought was spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to go through game by game, just roughly, and then we're going to talk about a couple of things that has shocked me personally. So I'll get your views on that as well. So firstly, as we are both Arsenal fans, let's start with the Arsenal versus Watford game.
Mm.
3-2 to Arsenal. Although it's 3-2, the score sounds deceiving with the way Arsenal has performed. What are your thoughts about the game?
I didn't think we played that well. I think in parts we did, but overall, I still thought we were vulnerable at the back. Um, I don't know about Cedric as well. I don't know his positional sense, recovery, whatever. I wasn't convinced. I thought Odegaard was amazing.
Odegaard was amazing. He was literally.
Did he get man of the match?
No, he didn't. Saka
No?
got it. Saka got it.
Saka was lively this time. I think he was
Everything was
dangerous.
coming down from his side this match. I was quite surprised that they didn't use Martinelli that much, even though if the ball goes to the left-hand side where Martinelli was playing, it always shifted back to the right in to where Saka is. Then the attack started happening.
I think that's a bit of a trend, though, isn't it? It's not just that game. I think we attack more on the right than on the left.
True. But like what you said, I was not very convinced as well. I thought we played good in patches, but I don't think so. It was a convincing performance. We handled the game quite well, but I always thought we were going to concede because I thought this time we were not very strong at the back. Normally we are quite strong at the back, but this game I thought we were always bound to concede.
Yeah, maybe it's like a deliberate thing that he's leaving the midfield open, right? But still, you can leave it open, but you have to know what the risks are when you're doing that. Of course, it suits us. Before, when we were too compact, I think it wasn't to our advantage in an attacking sense. We're creating a lot more now. It's sort of, if you know what I mean, when it's bigger, you get more counter attacks rather than, like, we're not quite good enough to do a possession game yet, right? You know what I mean?
I think so too, because I think our final balls are still lacking. I mean, we create the first stage of attack, but when we go to the final stage of attack, I still don't think there's creativity. I mean, don't get me wrong, the goals that we scored was fantastic. That's something that we created in the final stage, but we don't see it too often in every game that it has been created in the final stage of attack.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we are scoring goals, and we do look like we're going to score now. Like, we had a period where we didn't, right?
Yeah.
The first podcast we did, I think we talked about how, I think we played Wolves, didn't we? We won 1-0, I think.
Yeah.
But it looked like a 0-0 game. And then, my worry was where the goal's going to come from. It in possession, at that time, we got a lot tighter, didn't we?
Yeah.
Compact as a team. And it was just all very methodical, very slow. But so I think he's deliberately opened up the midfield, the distances.
And I also think our backline was a bit shaky this game. I don't think so. when they had the ball, they gave the ball away a bit too much this time compared to
I agree.
games. Also, I did not think that it was more smooth transition from the defense to attack. There were, like what I said, in patches, they were smooth, but there were also times where we looked like we're going to give the ball away. There was no security in the way we were passing.
No, I couldn't agree more. I thought, you can see a lot of Man City's play in our play now because of the obvious thing, Arteta. And then one of their key things is that they keep the two wide guys really wide to spread, from side to side. Martinelli doesn't hug the touchline enough for me. And also, I don't know, Saka does, right? That right side. That's why we prefer that right side. The left side, why? I don't know why we don't. But Martinelli just doesn't, he doesn't come back and get on the ball as much as I'd like him to. And then he won't give that width as much as I'd like him to also. So, it's a bit stuttering, that left side. I don't know exactly what the problem is.
For me, I prefer Emil Smith Rowe.
Emil Smith Rowe coming off that left channel, right?
Because for me, he's like more like an attacking midfielder, and
he's stronger as well. Martinelli's not strong, right?
So he wants to always get on the ball. So like what you said, he will come down to get on the ball. He gets on the ball. He holds on to the ball enough for Kieran Tierney to overlap. So that creates a 2v1 situation or 3v2 situation where when Xhaka comes in as well. So those kind of situations are created more when Emil Smith Rowe is. And I think Pepe can do that job as well. He gets out wide as much as possible, and he likes to get on the ball more. So I think better than Martinelli, I think I would prefer Emil Smith Rowe or Pepe on that side.
Martinelli's still learning the game, I think, isn't he? He's quite young and he can be forgiven. But you can see he's just not physically got the presence of like Emil Smith Rowe or even Saka is actually quite strong, right? And I thought he held on to the ball a lot longer than I'd seen him doing so in the past on the weekend. And I was impressed with him. I was definitely impressed with him. Martinelli, not so much.
I was mostly impressed with Odegaard, the way he controlled himself, went about in the pitch, getting the ball from everywhere. I thought
he's a footballer. The difference is we can produce all of these touchy-feely players, but at the end of the day, the whole thing is about knowing tempo, which very few players do, and also timing. And Smith Rowe's got timing. He's a footballer. I'm not saying they're not footballers, but they're not top quality footballers. Even Jack Grealish in the City game, I thought he was literally so average compared to the other Man City players. He's not impacted. I don't know. They bought him for a reason for 100 million, right? And I thought he would hit the ground running. But for me, he's just, I thought I saw him before I went home and when he was at Villa and they played at Cambridge United. And I watched him live and I just thought, wow. But so many players I'm watching now, they're just, either they're not maturing as quickly as I thought they would, or they don't have a football brain. When you do technique as much as the guys are doing now, you can see they're all really graceful. They're all great on the ball. But like I say, their timing and their reading of the game, and especially the tempo, when to go, when not to go. I know you need a good manager to dictate that, but when footballers have a brain, they don't need that much direction,
You're absolutely right, and I noticed that nowadays in modern football, more and more players are more worried about the technique and how they're going to be on the ball than more of where am I going to stand, when am I going to go, when am I going to come in, when am I going to go out.
And consequently, if you look at the defenders, they don't bother to tackle them.
No,
because they're offering no threat whatsoever. All they're going to do is get the ball and move it sideways. Exactly. How many of them are dangerous? When you see De Bruyne on the ball, you're nervous as a defense, for sure, because he's a football player, right? But you watch the way, I know it's because we can't really tackle anymore, but you see how much people are zoning, and there's no man-on-man midfield players anymore.
We talk about De Bruyne, and in Arsenal, every time Saka gets the ball, there's 2-3 players on him, because they know if he gets the ball, right, he's more effective on the ball, but he's not gonna just go sideways. He's gonna attack that space.
That's it. That's the difference.
He's gonna.
I want my guys, especially, when you get young guys, they haven't got any fear, so they normally go for it. But this generation of players, I'm sorry, they're really, really good, but they're not footballers. We have to be really careful how we coach these kids, because, of course, it's much better than it used to be. I mean, we didn't have any skill whatsoever. You think about our top guys, Michael Owen. There's no tricks. I don't mean tricks. I mean, no one-on-one ability. There's very few from our days that could do the things that the guys take for granted now. But I'd still prefer a Michael Owen to most of these forwards.
Absolutely, because Michael Owen was more direct. At the end of the day, players set a goal. Okay, so if I get the ball, my goal is to go towards this area and attack this space. And those days, whenever they did it, it was same. It was same with the Brazilian Ronaldo. He had bags of tricks, but he will always use that 1 or 2 tricks to get towards the goal as fast as possible. And also players like him were in the right place at the right time. You think about how can he get that many goals? Even after his serious injuries in the 2002 World Cup, it was him being in the right place at the right time.
Well, the thing is as well, here's the problem is, I think everyone's overcoached now. Yeah. So if you have a player, you watch Maradona, if you watch the old footage of Maradona, there's one photo with something like 6 Belgian defenders and Maradona into one shot. Players understood each other, and they weren't now that it looks like they're told, you stay there, you go there. When he picks up the ball, you go there. You don't need to tell good footballers that. When Maradona got the ball, all his teammates knew where to go, either away from him or just to give him a 1-2, like Barca always did with Messi, right?
Yeah.
But they moved away from the space to let the guy use his God-given talent. And now I can't see anyone running at somebody and his teammates, especially Grealish. I'm really freaked out about how slow Grealish is developing. Is it because of the 100 million? I don't know, but anyway, he's not the only one. But I just think, when you're worth that much money, and then when you were so amazing in the past, like even in the Euros, he was. I was wondering why he wasn't getting put on as much as as I thought he might have deserved. But he's just not impacting the game, right?
No, even he had a good game against United, like what you said.
I don't think he did. I watched it really carefully because I was that player. I was that 10, right? He's like a 10. He's like really a natural 10. But the really good 10s come inside. He doesn't. He stayed on the flank. They were doing everything on that left side. If you if you can remember.
Yeah, Morris was quite quiet, that time. But
Morris, I like Morris, but I thought that side was really being overloaded. It was Bernardo Silva was there with Grealish, and then for a change, Cancelo wasn't making those overlap runs as much as normal.
But they also went more on Grealish side because they knew Wan-Bissaka was just terrible in that game.
He was terrible.
And they targeted him. You can see that it was so clear that how much they have targeted him. But again, talking about the players, you look at Rashford, how much he has developed over the 3 years. He haven't developed at all. Speed, zero development. Now, defenders know how to mark him. He's not getting the joy that he once used to get.
Yeah, for sure. And then, if you think about this, obviously Ranić had to try something different. But if you're going to play 2 central midfielders up front and you're not going to put Rashford on to start, that's saying a lot. That Ranić, seeing him in training, he's just obviously not doing anything.
Yep.
But again, remember, is he a footballer or did he have loads of pace and technique? This is what I'm saying. I don't think he's a footballer.
Neither do I, because I don't think so. He's a footballer because I have seen him play a couple of times. Some things you don't have to speak to a player about tactics, because sometimes it's just about decision making. When you're in front of goal, if I make that 5-yard pass, does he have a better chance, or do I take a 30-yard shot? So decisions like this. Just decisions like this for me. I don't think so. He's a footballer because
he kills space. He kills his space and he kills other people's spaces.
Absolutely.
He doesn't understand where to run, how to run for himself, or how to run for his teammates.
Absolutely.
All he was ever good at was when Man United played on the counter.
Yep. And when he had that space to run with the ball. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Where's his pace from? Did you see when he was one-on-one on was Sunday, no? People were catching him up. It wasn't the same Rashford. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll come back to that, because I want to have a separate subject to talk about that, because I've written something down about those games. So as we're talking about United and City, let's talk about the game. I mean, 4-1, and it's a derby. Man United should be embarrassed about this game, because the way they played, sometimes is even if you're technically lesser than the other team, at least there's some pride and effort should be there. I mean, if you're a Man United fan, even as a neutral watching, I'm pissed at United for putting in a performance like that. Imagine if you're a fan of the club.
Yeah, I remember Roy Keane saying when Jose was there that the players threw Jose under the bus, and they will do the same to Solskjaer. They're doing the same to Ranić.
Yeah.
Every game, they start okay. It looks, I mean, to be honest, the first 25 minutes looked good, didn't it? They played a different way, like that 2-2-2 thing, 4-2-2-2. They had urgency, they had intensity, they looked good. But they don't do it for more than 60 minutes, Jav. Every week is the same. Absolutely. The only comeback they've ever had is when they got pegged back by Leeds and they went on to win 4-2. That was a different United at that time. But you're right. They don't have any pride. They walked in that last part. I know it's so demoralizing playing against a team like City. Everton looked the same, and Everton, if there's anything about Everton, even at their best, their glory years, they had a fight. We're working class. We work. That's what we do. And we've got pride. But where the hell was the pride from Man United and Everton. It just wasn't there. It was just weak, you know?
It was. Because I find it very baffling when you go to a big game like that, a derby game, where you've been having a shit season. This is something for you as a player to show that you still have something left in you.
How many months ago, when they were so embarrassed by City, do you remember City?
Yeah, 5.
I think it was 3-0 on it, but
No,
they didn't.
It was 2-0, but it was like City didn't even get out of the third gear. They just played them off the park with passing. Guardiola didn't even make one change in that game. That's how bad.
Right?
That's how bad.
Oh, yesterday, you mean?
No,
Sunday.
the first game they played against City.
What I was going to say is, can you see any difference?
No,
I can't see any difference. There's a mentality problem at United.
there is.
By the way, Maguire's got to go. He's absolutely toilet. I don't mind the other fella. Who's the other fella? I thought he played quite well, the other centre-back, but Lindelof. But Maguire, do you remember when I can't remember which goal it was, but it was when it was the two saves and then the third one went in.
Yeah.
He let the ball go through his legs and go back out for a shot.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. That's a De Bruyne goal.
You know, it's mental. It's dangerous. Get rid of the goddamn ball.
Yeah.
Don't let it go through your legs in the 6-yard box. The guy has no football brain.
No, he doesn't have any sense at all. I mean, how can you get out wrestled by a 21-year-old in Phil Foden, and then the guy just lifted the ball over your head to score the goal?
It wasn't the only time he got robbed by Foden, and no, he's a total joke. If you see that when the ball comes across as well for the first goal, and Lindelof is saying, "Get out to that position." Do you remember when this was when Bernardo Silva took over from Grealish, and then he cut the ball back? Do you remember?
Yeah.
You see where Maguire was? Maguire was standing next to the keeper.
See, that's the thing, that sense of positioning, to know the game. When we teach the kids, we always tell the kids, scan your environment, read the game, it's like a game of chess, get your moves ahead, understand and judge where the ball is going to be, where the play is going to be. As a professional player, it's baffling to see that you're not able to understand your environment. You're not able to judge where you're going to stand. As a center back, you should have that sense of where the ball is going to be.
Jav, he's the captain. How can he be a captain? The team. He can't organize himself. How on earth is he a captain?
Absolutely.
It's bananas, absolutely bananas. But again, these so-called experts, really, you're wasting that much money. You've scouted this guy for how long? You didn't see he was a donkey? I don't get it.
And I don't understand. In modern day football, with the pace that Maguire has, you paid 80 million for that?
Has or hasn't?
The pace that he has is nothing. Zero.
I mean, the pace he doesn't have.
Exactly.
And never will have.
Yeah. I mean, don't tell me that he was fast before, because you're not going to drop massively like that. Yet you're 29 years old, your peak, you're in your physical performance. You should be faster, if anything.
If Man United want to do something to help him, they put a lock on his refrigerator. He's about 1.5 stone overweight.
I don't know about that, but I can.
He's not sharp. Don't read the game. He's got no pace. And you're 80 million? Are you kidding me?
Van Dijk was 70 million, for your information.
Van Dijk was, yeah. 75 he was, wasn't he?
He's 75 million pounds. And look at the difference. look at the difference in class on the ball, off the ball, defensive, attacking, everything.
I actually think he's wobbling a little bit at the moment.
He's wobbling a little bit because, you know, after the ACL injury, he just doesn't look the same. And I had ACL injuries, and I can tell you, it's
me too.
Come back, yeah, when you come back, it's just never the same.
Well, I didn't come back.
When you try to play again, it's just not even the turns with the ball, you don't feel the same. You feel like you're going to tear it again every time I try to turn with the ball now. I feel the same, you know. I feel like I'm gonna tear it completely. There's no confidence on the ball.
What I remember was the first time I did it, I had to be away from football for 3 years. I went and played rugby, and then I came back. And then the second time was here, rugby. But the first time, you know, before, when I was like that, a bit younger, 18, I could organize my team and I could run. Then after that happened, I could either run or I could organize the team, but I couldn't do both anymore.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
One is because you're thinking about it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Even subconsciously.
Subconsciously,
Constantly thinking about it. The minute you think about something else, like for me, you can see as a coach, I'm always looking at everything. I'm seeing everything. But when you get that injury, you're thinking about that injury, and it stops your peripheral everything.
Yeah, it stops your vision. Even when I'm coaching kids, and sometimes when I play with the kids, I'm thinking, oh, I should not make this move. I should not make this move because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna tear. It limits you completely.
Demos are the worst.
So I'm very, very careful, even when I'm demonstrating to the kids and whatsoever. I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should not do a little bit more faster than this. So ACL injuries can be very painful, and you could lose a lot of space when coming back from.
He hasn't lost pace; he's lost sharpness.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
I think so. I think certain challenges he used to go for before, he just doesn't, you know, push himself to go that extra yard.
When he does it wrongly. He's either got too close or whatever, but then he's fouling more than he fouled before.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
And also, balls behind him are more frequent. No ball ever got behind him, and if it did, he was quick enough, right? But occasionally now, do you remember the time Roy Keane said they got sloppy? And then I really looked at how they were performing that back line. As you know, excuse me, when you play such a high line like Liverpool do, it is dangerous because anything can get behind you. But before they didn't have to worry at all, because like Alisson, if he comes off his line, wins everything, right? His timing's immaculate. And of course, Van Dijk looked like he was a Rolls Royce, didn't he? It just was. It was just perfect timing. But now something's in his head because he's getting caught too often.
Yeah, and I think that ACL injury has a lot to do with how he is mentally. And this is the first season back, you know, after that ACL injury. So, you know, I think next season should be better for him, hopefully. But yeah, let's move on to this Leeds versus Leicester game. I watched this game and I thought it was a very good game of football to watch. What are your thoughts on it?
Immediately, the defense looked more solid for Leeds, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They look more like a football team than just kids in the park.
The trouble is now, like the converse is, I don't think they're going to win as many games as they would have done before. I think it was a mistake getting rid of Bielsa before the end of the season. I know they were on a bit of a free fall, but Leeds were still capable of winning matches. And the attack wasn't as dangerous as it was in the past. The defense is definitely better. But when you look, what was the score in the end? 1-0.
1-0. But
yeah, that's going to be the story of Leeds.
But Leeds
no,
had chances to score. Leeds had chances to score. I think.
Yeah, but they haven't got enough quality. They're what they are. He's taken a load of fairly average players and got them super fit, and they will finish because they're just going at such intensity for the 90 minutes, right?
But for me, I thought Leeds played quite well. They hold on to the ball quite well. They attacked quite well. I mean, at the end of the day, the class showed between Leicester and Leeds. Leicester just had better players all over the field.
Yeah.
And for Leeds, like what you said, Bielsa did get them to play in such a level where more likely, even if they concede, they're going to win a game of football. But I think,
and it's worth 3 points. That's the the crucial factor. But if it was 2 points, 1 point, now you would feel it was okay. But I think you watch the games now, they won't lose by much, but they'll keep losing now, Leeds, I
think so too. And I think if Leeds want to get some points in their bag and get out that relegation zone, for me, I think they have to really start finding a way to score goals, because
Bamford was on the bench. If you watched it,
I noticed,
they didn't bring him on, which was probably a good decision because he's not ready yet, apparently. But yeah, just the fact that he's on the bench has got to give you a bit more confidence, right?
Absolutely. It was a good game. It's good to see Leeds play in a different way from how they were just falling.
Leicester played well as well. It was a good game. Like you say, there was a lot of good games this weekend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then we go to Liverpool versus West Ham. 1-0 to Liverpool. That was a shaky game for Liverpool, to be honest with you. I mean, they created chances. But West Ham looked like every time they went to that box, they looked like they want to score. And I don't know how Lanzini missed that.
Any score that game, right?
Sorry?
It could have been any score.
Yeah, absolutely. It
really could have been any score. There was disallowed goals in that one as well, I think, right?
But I think the one Lanzini missed for West Ham.
Oh, no. That was ridiculous, right?
Shocking. When the moment he took it, when he took the ball, I thought that's a goal.
He took it really well, didn't he? His movement was good. And then he waited for the bounce. Like he didn't, it wasn't like he panic shot that one. But it went so far over the bar, it looked like it was a panic shot. It wasn't.
But he
just completely, for some reason, got it all wrong, right?
It looks like, it was, the ball was in slow motion because he had that much time. And yet, I don't know how can you just blast it over in such a short distance? That was just unbelievable. And I thought West Ham could have gotten out with a draw. And that would have done Man City a big favor.
It would have done. I was worried, actually, that United might do something and then City might end up having a problem. At the end of the day, though, still, head-to-head, I think City beat Liverpool. Don't you?
Head-to-head, well, they still have to play each other.
That's what I mean. That is a 6-point game, that one, for sure.
Absolutely.
But the way City are playing, I don't know who he would play. Can you imagine if they had a forward? You think about this, right? Man City are doing all of what they're doing without a single forward. It's bananas.
Exactly. Not a single striker, yes. All are false nines.
Every single pundit would be slaughtering Guardiola and saying how terrible City's recruitment is, Excuse me. What it proves is that it's not about, when Aguero played, it was about Aguero, but it's not about having a forward. It's not about that. It's about having the movement and getting players to arrive in certain areas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's proven because they've played an entire brilliant season without a single recognized forward.
Exactly.
They play Gabriel sometimes, but they play him on the right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Arsenal plays very similar because Lacazette does not play like a striker in that team, because it's more like, you know, it's more like Martinelli, Saka, who arrives in, or Odegaard arrives late inside the box. Lacazette is more like a 10. That's how he plays for Arsenal. So City plays in a very similar way.
Yeah, but City getting numbers in that box.
Yeah, City do get numbers in the box, where we're a bit too slow to get numbers in the box.
Yeah, well, we're not strong enough. We're physically not ready yet, right? Too many younger players, but but it's not just that, but it's back to that timing again, and it's back to the tempo. You got to hold and recycle, and then wait for the cue, and then everyone knows where they're going. That's Man City.
Absolutely.
Except for Grealish. Grealish sometimes stands there and looks lost for me. But Bernardo Silva, his movement, Gundogan, the way that they get into the box. I like it when they don't have De Bruyne like as a holding midfield player. I like it when he's allowed to get in the box as well.
Yeah. I think when De Bruyne has a free role, he plays better. I've seen him in free roles, and I've seen him in
City play better. He's the best midfield player in the game.
Absolutely, I agree. And next game, we're going to Burnley versus Chelsea. It's a weird one because I watched that game, and first half was 0-0. Second
I know.
4-0. And for me, Reece James changed the game.
No, totally.
Yeah, because the moment he's allowed to get to go more forward, it's completely different from Aspilicueta or you know, what was the other?
He's been missed. I really enjoy watching him play. He's just so marauding. You know, he's not going to get a place in the England team, is he?
No, because Trent is in front of him. That's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
I think for England, he would be more effective.
I think so too. I think
he's definitely more effective than what's his name, the Man City right back. No, right back.
Kyle Walker.
Sorry, Kyle Walker. Yeah, I mean, Kyle Walker's brilliant in his role, but I prefer someone who comes in like Reece James. I mean, he's just brilliant to watch. He looks like a winger when he comes inside, right?
Yeah. I think I would prefer Reece James over Trent or Kyle Walker because his attributes both defensively and in the attacking third is brilliant.
Sure.
You know, whereas Trent have his limitations and Kyle Walker has his limitations, but whereas James he's very good in both ways.
No, but you said it last time we spoke, was that they seem to, lots of teams now are seeming to have more freedom, more flexibility with their roles, right?
Yeah.
He's the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
He don't even bother going back to right back for 5 minutes after he's gone on a run. But when he does go back, it's exactly at the right timing.
Exactly.
He's brilliant. I love him.
His sense of football game is very, very good. His reading of the game is just amazing. And that's what makes a good player as well. And
well, that's the team as well, that they allow him to go and do that and they cover for him. That's the point of a defensive midfielder, to cover for, to let those more creative guys get on and do what they do, right?
Exactly. And I thought Chelsea needed him to be there, and when he's there, the game completely changed in the second half. That's when they got all the 4 goals.
Well, Kai Havertz finally got into the game when he came on as well.
Exactly. I think started finding more space, you know, because James would pull the defense more out wide.
He pulls the defender away that's marking Carl Havertz. That's exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I agree with you. He made a massive impact. And Chelsea look good again, don't they?
yeah. And
they had to be patient, like you say, because it wasn't really flowing. It was good, but not. They weren't really that dangerous, were they, in the first half?
Absolutely.
But yeah, the second half was they could have scored more.
Definitely. And the last game, Spurs versus Everton, 5-0 to Spurs. That's a bit lot of goals for Spurs. One day they play so bad, and the next day they play so good. It's complete polar opposite.
Yeah, I mean, he is new, and he's got to find who can play with who. Their two January window signings look amazing, don't they?
Kulusevski, when the first time we saw him, we thought that.
Yeah, I didn't think much.
Slow. Yeah, he's a bit slow. He's a bit, but he's looking like a brilliant signing for
Oh my God. Yeah. For a big guy, he's got really good range, skilled, technical, holds onto the ball well.
Exactly.
And
strong.
What's the other guy's name? Ben
Yeah, Bentancur.
Yeah. I thought he was like a pivot. He was perfect.
Yep. He is. He's very good on the ball as well, and knows where to pass, when to pass. The movement, the places that he picks up the ball, always there to support.
That's his first team, isn't it? That's his first team. He just realized what his first team is.
Yeah.
And how they can play. They still kept that counter attack. You know, there was long periods where they conceded possession deliberately. Yeah, I thought it was just a brilliant performance. I just watched it just now, actually.
Yeah,
very good.
I think it was a good game for Spurs, but again, after all these games, Arsenal.
It looked like a Conte team, didn't it?
It did. That performance, yes, it looked like his team. And after all this game, Arsenal are sitting on the 4th spot, 1 point above United, with 3 games in hands.
3, is it? I thought it was 2.
3. Where do you think this is going to?
Well, we have to lose it, don't we? We have to lose it.
But the form we are in is really going to be difficult for us to lose it, because we still have to play against Spurs. We still have to play against United. I think West Ham are out of the picture already.
And Wolves as well, right?
Wolves as well. Wolves losing as well. So I think it's between Spurs, United, and Arsenal. But Arsenal has the upper hand.
By a margin, right?
By a big margin, because you're 1 point ahead of United with 3 games in hand. That says a lot.
Yeah, I'd probably say Spurs are more of a threat than United.
Yeah, at the moment, yes, because I don't think so this United team is going to get better. So that's something that I wanted to talk about. Again, we
said this before, though, Jeff, didn't we? That it will keep going week by week. Like, we can't read off of one result. And then all those teams are conspicuous by the fact that they're inconsistent.
Exactly.
You know, this is United, this is Wolves, this is West Ham, was Arsenal. Now finally we've got some kind of continuity going, and I don't know why, but I still don't like our defense. I think if we play better sides, we could come undone. We haven't played anyone that had any forwards in the last month, have we?
No, but we did play against City and we looked fantastic. It was only that red card that we lost by.
Yeah, we'll never know, right? We'll never know.
Yeah, and I think we just hit the form in the right time. And may it last long.
There's 13 games still to go. That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games, and that's what I'm saying. It's ours to lose, but it's about a team. Which team can put 10 games in a run? That 10 games is going to make the massive difference.
Yeah.
So,
Liverpool City, Chelsea, you can not guarantee anymore, but Liverpool City, whoever has to play them, you may as well say you ain't getting a point in those games. Right?
Exactly.
Although Spurs got 3, so they're in contention just because of that bloody thing, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But you don't know Spurs are going to lose to who.
You have no idea, right?
Exactly. So another thing I wanted to speak about was about Man United leaks. I don't know if you saw the news that the dressing room are saying that, how can we play for the manager when he's only interim? We don't really understand his style of football.
I thought that from the start. I didn't get it. I never understood it.
But do you think this is the right thing to do for players to just leak things out of their dressing room into the press and put the manager under the bus?
I think they're desperate though, aren't they? I don't think they're putting their manager under the bus. I think they're talking about Man United policy as a whole. Why are you giving us this guy? First of all, Jav, you know how hard it is for a manager to come into the Premiership, and comes into the Premiership, never having coached at really elite level. Let's be honest, not at this kind of elite level. And then, we don't know who he is. And then you're asking the players to respect such a person when he's only going to be there for a short space of time. It was never going to be easy. And probably of all the dressing rooms, that is the one with the most egos. So, they were always going to have a problem. But should they do it? No, of course they shouldn't. But there comes a time. Did you hear? I can't believe this. Edison Cavani was fit but said he didn't want to play.
Same as Ronaldo. Ronaldo was dropped for the sub.
Ronaldo was dropped.
Yeah.
Edison Cavani would have played, but he didn't want to play, probably because he knew he would be embarrassed in that game, right?
And Ronaldo didn't even come to the game. He went to Portugal.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
we've known it for a long time. There's a big decision to be made for that club. And then, they've tried the fans' favorite sort of thing, right? In Solskjaer, they tried the recommendation of Ferguson. He didn't work. He's working now a little bit at West Ham, but I think he was never going to be big enough. Van Gaal, of course, was. Jose Mourinho is a serial winner. They've tried all combinations and none of them have worked. So this next decision, it's huge. Bottom line is they're Man United, so they can still get anyone, but they have to decide very, very carefully, I think.
Yeah, for me, I just think that, as players, doesn't matter who the coach is, even at such elite level, I think you have to be an example to all the kids who are watching you.
Yeah, but that's exactly what's wrong with Man United. Those players think they can do anything, say anything, perform how they want. You can see that that's not a team, that's not a collective that's strong enough, is it? And that's why they keep going through managers. Good managers have gone in that club and have been embarrassed, really.
And failed.
Yeah, it's the players. It's sure the players. I feel sorry for Ranier. You see him in every interview, like I said last time. He's really honest in everything he says. I get the players, though, because... And also, for me, the club, what are you thinking? Like, you've got a guy coming in from a different league. He doesn't know our league. And you brought him in with this idea that he's going to manage to the end of the season. and then he's gonna, excuse me, give an analysis about how they should change. He don't even know the game.
But then again,
he doesn't know Man United. He doesn't know the Premiership. How are you going to listen to this guy?
And the second thing is that they didn't even listen to him when he said, okay, he doesn't want Lingard, they can go, right? They don't listen to him in the transfer. He said he needed a midfielder, where it was easy to get one in January. There was people available, but they didn't get them.
Well, you're not going to, if you're going to release Donny, and then you got how many midfielders there? You got too many, if anything, midfielders there. They ain't going to splash the cash for him, are they?
No, they aren't, because you let Donny go, you know, and you only have Fred, McTominay, and Matic as a defensive midfielder.
Pogba.
Well, Pogba doesn't play as a DM.
But he didn't at the weekend, but he was playing there, wasn't he? And then he moved from there.
Yeah, he was playing
too. Who plays where for Man United? We don't even know anymore.
But that club is in such a mess. I just don't know. From top to bottom is a mess. First of all, these players need to get something right in their head, that it's a privilege to be a professional football player. Sometimes even good players don't make it to the top level. Sometimes it's about.
I want to go back to having homegrown teams, having a pride in your academy, and then we grow together. The whole world's going in this direction where it's just all soulless. Like, you can't go in there for a little while. Even I don't like managers changing. Like, you know, Mourinho doesn't go to Man United after he's been at Chelsea. That's a disrespect for the whole history and everything that our game is about, in my opinion. I love Cara. I love Stevie G. They stayed at one club. Okay, they didn't win honors, but so what? Who remembers that now? They remember that those two boys are class. So Frank Lampard stayed after West Ham, stayed. I know he went to City at the end, whatever, but you know what I mean? He stayed loyal to Chelsea. So did Terry. Chelsea did well. Man United players didn't move. They stayed at United.
Till the end.
Till the end. And they still love, you know, all the pundits are from those clubs, right? Who do you want? You want a guy who, you don't want someone talking to you, like Roy Keane is always on. Roy Keane never left. You want all those boys talking because they're talking from the same heart that we've got as working class supporters of the game.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And
when I hear Van Persie, I want to turn off. Even he was brilliant for us.
Yeah.
No, I don't like shitty guys like him that just go for glory, because the game's so much bigger than any of those individual players, right? Absolutely. And the good ones get it.
Well, this is the world that we're living in right now, and for me, when those leaks, when they came out, it just baffled me completely. I said, how are you just letting things go? Aren't you supposed to stay professional? Aren't you supposed to honor your contracts? You know, show some respect to your coach.
It's going to get worse and worse. We got players who we can't shout at anymore. So how do you have a dressing room? Like, I've been listening to all the guys talking about what they had to do when they were growing up as apprentices. We can't do that with the kids anymore. No,
we can't.
I mean, who goes on loan? Like, you know, you get all of these players. It was like when City and Chelsea took everyone, quite good players in the clubs at their level, and they took them all, and then the players just disappeared, right? Steve Sidwell, like all of these kind of guys like Rodwell, all these really talented guys ended up doing nothing because it's just a money thing. But it's just all going wrong. I want to go back to the old values, the old like morals, you know, like when you hear Roy Keane saying things like he would have a fight with the goalkeeper and stuff, and he's not even joking. Everyone needs to know what it's about. You don't need to win in certain other things, but in sports, you have to want to win. When you're executives of a club, you have to have at least a mild feeling that you could win the league like Leicester did. If you haven't got any hope, if you don't give supporters a hope, the whole thing is thrown into chaos for me.
And
why would you bother going anymore?
And exactly
look at
what
the difference at Newcastle now. The hopes come back. It's phenomenal.
And look at
I thought you were going to talk about that game, by the way. They're bloody brilliant now.
Yeah, they are. They are. That's one game I didn't want to talk about because that will be a lot of games to talk about in one podcast. So,
but now, they deserve to be in every podcast going forward. Absolutely. And me and you have to bow our head and say we were wrong about the manager.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Maybe, right?
Crazy.
Maybe.
Well, but that's the thing, you know, like just the injection of hope. All of a sudden, you know, he did not even use this this guy, Bruno Gomares, but all of a sudden, just that hope is lifting the whole team up. Same players who were in relegation zone, all of a sudden they're winning all these teams. You know,
yeah, they lost Kieran Trippier.
Yeah,
they didn't play Sam Maxima.
Yeah, and they didn't play Bruno Gomares.
Right,
Bruno Gomares is coming in as subs only.
They're doing something right. There's a buzz, but you know, I went to college at Newcastle, and I went to so many games there. That crowd, if you get them on your side, they're amazing.
They are.
When they're against you, they're horrible. They say as it is. They're Geordies, man. They say it as it is.
Absolutely.
I love that. But yeah, what a change around. And it, you know, you can't say it's down to money. Of course, they got a couple of guys in, but it's not that. It's the feeling. You can see it.
Exactly my point. That's why I was saying that even Bruno Gomares was not playing. Kieran Trippier was not playing. Same players, but just different mentality. Just a new sigh of hope. You have to have hope in life or in football. In anything you do, you have to have hope, thinking that, okay, one day.
Yeah, otherwise it's just demoralizing, right?
Absolutely. And for me, that's what
this virus.
And that's,
will it ever end?
I don't know. We hope.
Are we ever going to have an injection of happiness again? I don't know.
I hope so. That's what we're all waiting for. But again, in the Man United Man City game, that's what I don't not see from United, that they did not even have an ounce of hope that they're gonna win this game.
That's why they stopped running.
You know, there's no belief, because one time
there's no belief. That's the word. There's no belief.
And there was one time where Rashford just came in. You know, of course, you have the energy. Bernardo Silva has been playing for 70 minutes already. He just running past you, and you chased him for a few yards and then just stopped there, and he's still running. That's impossible. That's impossible. You know what? I mean, you're a homegrown player. What kind of attitude do you have when you step on that pitch?
There wasn't one of them, though. It was about 6 of them, right? That you really thought, wow, what are you doing? Like, where's the pride? Like,
yeah,
this is Man United. You know, what you need to do now is you need to get all the old boys in that dressing room and then get them watching videos, get them like doing speeches to those players, those old guys, you know, and like, you know, Bobby Charlton and stuff, and just like, this is what our club is. We don't care if you're not good enough, if your technique is not good enough, you're not strong enough, but you have to be equal with effort, because the whole of the Man United thing, the reason they were so big was because of everyone knew when you go see Man United, you see like an effervescent performance every time, whether they win, lose or draw, right? And especially the Fergie period, where you had the Fergie time, you know you don't write off Man United.
The minimum as a professional player, when you play for United, is that you have to at least run. Minimum, you have to at least go for the 50-50 challenges. Minimum.
But this is not new. This has been going on for too long. I don't know why people keep talking about this so much. Now, it like I say, all the pundits could see it before. Roy Keane called it. They threw the last manager under the bus. They're going to do the same thing to the next guy. Like we said so many times, Jav, it needs a total restructure, the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Really.
I think Man United, what they need to do.
If it wasn't for the goalie, they wouldn't even be in touch for top four. He's making worldies every week, worldie saves.
And these fans are saying he's the problem.
He's not the problem. He's a specific goalkeeper, but he's no. The way that they're playing, the amount of chances they're conceding, he's keeping him in games.
Exactly. His distribution might not be good, but that's secondary. As a goalie, you're supposed to keep the balls out of the goal.
Keep the ball out of the goal. That's your number one.
Yeah. That's your primary objective when you step on that pitch. But people don't understand, and fans think that, oh, you need another Ederson, you need another, Aaron Ramsdale.
You need to get rid of the captain and bring in a decent centre back, and then your goalie won't have to do so bloody much.
Exactly. And then you can talk about distribution from the goalkeeper, but you cannot. Your outfield players cannot distribute the ball properly. Can McTominay distribute the ball properly? I don't think so.
No.
We have to talk about a lot of other things before we get
That's the horrible thing at Man United, that when things go bad for the team, you look just as bad as all the rest of the guys, even you might be playing well. I actually think in a different team, Fred would be good.
I think so too, because Fred got something in him that McTominay don't have, and I think that.
I agree.
But when you watch Fred play for Brazil, he's actually not bad. Maybe he's not Man United quality, but
players understand the system. They understand each other. They know what they're doing. I think Lindelof with another partner at the back, him and Varane, when they played together recently, it looked good without Maguire.
Yeah. And
even, they have to cover, Lindelof has to cover so much because Maguire is so bad that actually the distances, if you look at the distances that Maguire leaves, it exposes the fullbacks.
Absolutely.
Makes them look worse. Like poor Wan-Bissaka, he's not a dreadful defender, right?
Yeah, but he had no support. In that game, they targeted his side because it was like...
He got killed.
Yeah. He got absolutely murdered over there. They just overloaded. It's just overloaded that side, and every time Lindelof tried to go and support him, that means he will leave Maguire alone, which the centerpiece becomes more empty. So Lindelof had to make a choice: stick to Maguire, cover the center, or go to Wan-Bissaka to help.
I saw the same thing with Gary Cahill. I wasn't a fan of Gary Cahill at all. The most important thing as a centre back is keeping in a unit with the other centre back. If you got someone so bad like Maguire who drops back or goes up too far, doesn't challenge when he's close enough to challenge, or backs off of challenges, he's making every decision wrong, but that affects that whole unit, and the whole unit gets ragged. The goals United are conceding are not goals that they should be conceding. Even against City, I know City played well, but a lot of those goals were so preventable, really.
Absolutely. Talking about centre backs, John Terry used to be slow, but his positional sense was just something. He organized his entire defense even before the ball ever came to the halfway line. So
well, you have to, don't you? If you're not quick, you have to. He had Carvalho alongside him as well in the good days, and he was quick. So he played more like a sweeper, right? So John Terry could go up and destroy centre forwards and stuff. But yeah, he could read the game. I thought Sol Campbell wasn't a good defender, actually. I didn't think he read the game well. John Terry was, and Tony Adams read the ball
more better, yeah. But Sol Campbell was something else. Sol Campbell was powerful. Was
so powerful. Yeah, just so powerful. His presence was enormous. But technically, I didn't think he was great. But it's one of those positions you probably see them more making mistakes than goalkeepers because they've got such a multitude of things to cover, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're not on a good team. When you're on a good team, it all looks easy, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, we're coming to an end for this podcast.
We finally didn't go on too long.
Yes, finally. But it was a good podcast today. Actually, I really enjoyed speaking about all these games because we are literally on the same page on everything.
Yeah.
It was
we
really,
have to apologize to people in the past. Sorry, guys. We're new at this and we want to get better, but we were trying to cover too many things in the past, and maybe we didn't come across as well as we could have done. I thought today was nice, a lot smoother.
Exactly. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching. Please make sure to subscribe.